All right, guys, welcome to our webinar. Today, we are going to be talking about what it takes for a thriving digital marketing agency in order to set up a proper HR department. We have it set up on our side, obviously, because we're in the business of placement for digital marketing agencies with 200 plus people. We have to have a very thriving HR process, but this process can also be taken by, if you're a digital marketing agency owner and you have an agency that is thriving and growing, and you're at maybe 10 people and you're foreseeing going to 20, 30, 40. We have clients who are, between 20 and 50 employees already. Those are bigger agencies. But when you get to that level, you don't have an option of not having an internal HR department. And then also you do have some other options like where we come in and we plug in some of these gaps for our clients. But the whole purpose is of this webinar today is that I really want to show you what good looks like when it comes down to hiring for digital marketing agencies, because that's what we're in the business of doing after all, right? We want to grow our agencies. We're going to do it using human resources. We want the best of the best for our agency. And so I want to kind of take you through under the hood of what we've built on RepStack side, why we're, the success that we're seeing is because, Salman and we were just talking about the distillation process on a vodka, where you take it through triple distill and, the smoother it is, right? And that's kind of what we're trying to do with our HR process. And I highly recommend as an agency owner that you guys take note and implement these processes wherever you can, and reach out to us with any questions or concerns. But without any further ado, let me introduce you guys to our director of Mr. Salman Hussain Shah is our senior HR associate. Welcome to the show, guys. Salman, why don't you kind of walk us through about what you do on a day-to-day basis at RepStack and what's this crazy, mysterious HR department all about?
Thank you for having us, Azhar. It's a pleasure to be here and explaining our two main functions and making it as simple as possible. Obviously, there are a lot of moving parts to this, but our main functions are always going to be to attract the talent into our company. And then the second one is to retain that talent. So HR department just continuously works in these two major roles. And we can talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, walk us through, maybe tell me a little bit about how big your team is right now. I know you guys are averaging what, 10, 15 new hires every month right now, or is it more than that?
It's much more than that. It's about 20 to 25 people every month from 15. So now we've increased that as well. We have about 4 permanent employees within the department, and they're separated in the talent acquisition, employee management, and then employee experience. So these are the 3 main departments. And then we have a lot of MTOs that come in, learn the...
What's an MTO?
Basically, they're management trainee officers that we have put in that can pick up if they don't have any background in HR, but they're extremely capable and creative. That's something that works. And if they have a background in digital marketing, it's also a necessary thing for us as well, even in HR. The reason for that is everything is now online. So they have to reach out to candidates on LinkedIn, on all these social media platforms. They have to write creative posts and job descriptions. And there's a lot of interaction when it comes to employee experience. There's a lot of interaction with going to be candidates and employees. So those are the people that we want to attract. And this is one of the things that we have gone from a push strategy to a pull strategy. Now what happens is, most of these candidates, they're coming in on their own and they want to work for the company. It's because of all that media, that the marketing that's been done, the brand that's been built within this 1 year, and it's worked wonders. So even in the HR department, a digital marketing background works wonders. So everything around, if you go into any other role as well.
Yeah, this is a whole different type of outreach on the HR side, because, as marketing agency owners, we're all familiar with what outreach looks like, right? We use our marketing teams and we use our sales team to do, different types of outreach. And basically on the HR side, we've really flipped. And I think that's kind of helped us build out sort of a unique HR infrastructure for RepStack as well, because, this entire infrastructure is focused on pulling talented people in for digital marketing agencies. And we have to, on the HR side, we have to be on cutting edge for digital. We don't have an option, right? Salman, your team, like you said, they have to use what channels like LinkedIn, you guys are probably using quite a bit.
Many different third-party platforms that we use. LinkedIn, we have our social media pages that marketing run for us as well. There's Instagram. So there's a huge synergy between us and the marketing department. When it comes to branding, then there's outdoor activities like job fairs, meetups, things like that. So all of these things are marketed through digital media platforms and media.
So it sounds like you have at any given time, including yourself, you have a 5 to 7 person team who's helping you bring in, anywhere from 15 to 30 people a month on a monthly basis.
Oh, 30 people that are selected. We are talking to at least 200 to 250 people. Obviously, we have automated this process a lot better.
So let me pause you there, Saman, because I want to really talk about this, because when we're hiring for key roles inside our agencies, obviously as an agency owner, you want to make sure you get the best of the best. But agency owners in most cases are guys like me who don't have the patience of going through those processes, right? And like I've done so much hiring on Upwork, for example, for my agency. And what used to happen was that, like I'd get so many jobs, I post a job, I get so many people applying. And now, I had no process on figuring out how to go from one to the next. I'd pick out a few people who sounded better to me, and I'd try to do some Zoom calls and interviews and things like that. Kind of had my own process, but it was all in my head. And I'm still pretty good at finding the right people, but this process is definitely not scalable. So especially for people who are getting into that growth phase, or building out bigger agencies now, I think focusing on something what you are doing inside RepStack HR is going to be key, because we're going to talk to you about, Salman, and telling us about, if you need to bring in 10 or 30 people, what sort of activity goes behind selecting these final 10 and 20 people, right? The amount of effort that you have to place in getting that batch in alone, right? So even if you're hiring 2 people, then you can kind of take a look at the amount of activity Salman and his department is doing, and kind of do those numbers for yourself, that if you're bringing in 2 people, then you should have talked to at least 200 people or something like that. Why don't you walk us through those activities that are happening before you shortlist any of these people?
Okay, so first things first, we have to market the job. So that process takes, for other people, it will take, like if you were, let's say, looking at Upwork or something. So there's ways to do that as well. So you can post your job and you'll start getting requests that they can perform that job. This is the same thing that happens with us as well. But what we have done is we have funneled all of these requests into a video interview and a video resume kind of format. So what this does is it brings us talking to that person into the timeline is going to be a lot better for us to get the maximum number of people that we can talk to. The process of posting a job that we're looking for someone is the same. And what we do is, from all of these platforms, we funnel this into a video resume process. And this is when all the people within the department can see who's applying for the position. And there are many different questions regarding whichever, position.
So your phase 1 is a video interview. So how many people are applying to this on a monthly basis?
So monthly, I don't have the exact numbers on only just the video resumes, but daily we are getting about 9 to 18 videos. So on a slow day, let's say on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, it's going to be about 9 to 10 people. But on busy days, like on the weekends, it's going to be extremely high. So it takes about 5 minutes to actually see if that particular candidate is going to be someone that will fit on our cultural platforms and our work ethic formats. So all of these things, the main things that we are looking for are leaders.
So you're saying we're getting about 500 people approximately a month filling out these video interviews. So guys, this is the first step in our hiring process. And the reason we are focused on this, and Salman, what software are you using to get this video interviews done automatically?
Currently, we are using Video Ask. It's an extremely good platform. It's on your phone, so any new
Video Ask is great. Yeah, and
so
a lot of people are using it within the agency community. A lot of people are familiar with it. I think you were the first HR department who was using this as a HR tool in the market that we're operating in. Is that correct, Salman?
That is correct. So it's been going on for at least 8 months. So it has worked wonders
Excellent.
for
So
us.
so that's the funny thing that we're taking really a client testimonial tool and a tool that is being used by digital marketing agency owners to collect more marketing influence and connecting with their clients and things like that. But here you took that same digital marketing tool and you converted it into a HR tool because for us this video interview is extremely important because our people, when they are placed with agency owners, they go into mainly client facing roles. So for us and our clients, it's extremely important to have extra clean communication. So unfortunately, if they don't have good English in these video, that's the reason behind it, right, Salman? Why we're using the
Correct.
video as?
Absolutely. It's not just that. It's a lot of people that apply on this platform suddenly turn the video off and then want to give the interview. So that's a red flag for us in a way.
Yeah.
Because if you're not comfortable being on camera, you're going to obviously, there'll be a lot more training that goes into getting them ready for that particular role.
So that's good. So now you guys can see the amount of, we've kind of using some of these automations, we've kind of reduced the amount of work that we have to do. That's why Salman is able to operate such a lean team. If you're hiring the amount of people that these guys are pulling through our systems, I would imagine that you'd need like a 10-15% team. Salman's doing the same job using a lot of these automations with the 5 to 7% team. Okay, so let's walk through phase 2. What happens there?
So then if we like someone through these video resumes, which is absolutely, we have like 3 to 4 face-to-face interviews on Zoom so that we can check and see how their energy levels are, how their skill set match with the.
So how many in phase 2, how many sessions do you guys have with them?
Daily, we have about 4 that we have. We have distributed that. I have some for the internal team members. So it's about 4 a day that we talk to on Zoom calls. Like it's one-on-one with the person that's coming in.
Gotcha.
So we keep it friendly, we keep it light, and we want to see how they react, what their energy levels are. Now, we are not even getting into the skill set part yet. This is just to see if they will, this is the distilling process. So we're just seeing if the pace is there. Skill set, we believe at RepStack, everything can be taught. There's some things that cannot. So that's what we distill first. And then we go into the skill set.
We're really going for the mindset over here, I think, right? And that's what you're looking for. That is this person coachable? And if they are, then I think we've seen with examples that these guys go in and they knock it out of the park. All right, so you have like 100 to 200 Zoom interviews on a monthly basis. 500 people come in phase 1. Now you're down to between 100 to 200 people. What happens in phase 3?
Phase 3 is going to be our verification process. So Anam is our verification expert here. So she's going to tell you a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah. Walk us through that. So verification and background check. Wow, that sounds very dangerous.
That is dangerous and exciting. So this phase is basically a very crucial part of all our HR processes. In this, we asked our particular candidates to submit their previous documents where they were working. So we make sure that the documents they are providing, they should be authentic, and the candidate is not indulged in any certain activities that violates the contract with RepStack. For example, they should not be working with any particular organization when they are coming there. So all of these things that we keep a check on. So whenever we find any kind of red flags, we just pause the application for that particular candidate. So that these are the things that is
the reason for that. The reason for that is basically because we promise our clients, they are going to be getting a full-time employee. This is one of the reasons that we don't allow a full-time option to for other companies. Like there's someone that's coming in, they need to be understanding that even though this is a work from home environment, it is still a full-time job, just like it would be with any other company. And our client is going to be that company. So we want them to have 100% engagement with the client. And so far we've been very successful.
I think if I'm going to be bringing anyone into my business, which is very near and dear to me, which I've given a big part of my life to build out this particular agency, then I owe it to my business to do everything in my power to make sure the person I bring in is actually who he or she says that they are, right? And that's what you guys are doing over here. You guys have a very extensive verification and background process where, if they fail on anything, any red flag pops up, that person just doesn't make it to the next step. And so that's a huge thing, because you just imagine people coming in through a weak background process, and that's going to happen again. If you are an agency owner and you're trying to do these things yourself, then there might be, like, that's why we have a four-step process over here. But if you're trying to do this yourself, there might be people who slip through the cracks, and we hear horror stories on what happens when not the right person comes in and joins as a marketing associate, and they have access to all these client accounts on as a media buyer and things like that. And we don't even want to, I get like knots in my stomach just thinking about that. So that's what you owe to your clients and to your agency. So having these steps in place is paramount when you're bringing anybody new to the company. And that's why working with a company like RepStack or any other placement company who specializes in placements for digital marketing agency is going to give you a edge up, because now you don't have to do it yourself. So okay, so I think verification, background, anything else to
add? The verification, let me explain. So we have let's assume there's about 200, there's a little more than 200 that actually make it to the verification process every month. 70% of them end up not having all the documents or getting that on time. So they're, pushed out into the next month or the month after. So that's a huge number. So the verification process is the number one thing that we are making sure that is bulletproof when it comes to
it's your name on the line here, right?
Correct.
You're sending this person inside the company, sending them over to our clients who are running multi-million-dollar agencies, and we expect this person to be like top notch and be verified and vetted and everything. And if it's not happening, then it's a big problem for everyone involved.
Yeah,
exactly.
And this is
there we just exactly there we measure the honesty of the candidate that is coming to our organization. We want him to be honest, even with the organization and with himself as well. So for that particular purpose, if we have to reach out there, as Salman said, that sometimes the organizations are not responding to us because they are big organizations, they have multiple background checks that they are running. So we reach out to them via LinkedIn with their particular profile, so that we hire the right choice in the particular time that the target that we have to reach in. So that's what we do in the background.
Excellent. Pre-onboarding session. What's phase 4?
Yeah, this one is my most favorite part, because we check a lot of details about our associates that are coming in, passing out all the previous processes.
So you have the verification process. In that verification process, you had 200 people. Now you're down to 60 people out of the verification, 50 to 60. And then you guys schedule them for pre-onboarding session?
Yeah. So in the pre-onboarding session, we almost cut down to more smaller batch if we found any kind of particular, red flags. So what are those basically? Pre-onboarding process is basically to start acclimation process of the candidate into a work environment and culture, in which we help them to organize their workstation to make sure that they come up with good and better fit equipment. For example, they should have a good internet speed. They should have a proper gadget. So if anything, they are not good with, so we just short up the batch, and then we move up to with the next onboarding call that we are hiring them.
What I'm saying, continuously help them once they've already gone through a lot of other processes, which is verification, the biggest one by far, where most of our candidates fall off. The other ones we can help them. So what we do, we continuously keep in touch with them. We have a lot of emails that go out and explain to them what the necessary things are. The most important thing is having excellent internet. So even if you're the best digital marketer in the world and you don't have good internet, it will not matter. So that base is so important going forward. Yes, we do have some days where your internet won't work, or you have some, shoddy connection here and there. But overall, we want to see if something is working for them. And pre-onboarding sessions are one of those.
And I think everyone's working from home, so I think this becomes extremely important, because you have to understand now, post-COVID especially, the human society is by and large comfortable with working from home, and this is going to be an ongoing thing. Our entire business is a complete remote 100% work from home. But with that, it comes with a huge responsibility as well, that if somebody, especially some of these new people who are joining the workforce right from university, they're not used to having a private area in their house and working from that and focused on that 8 hours of work, right? So I think that's what you guys are trying to do over here. You're making sure that these guys are able to perform at a really high level by making sure that they have all the ingredients present to work from home.
Yeah, the acclimation process. It's just like now they're understanding, oh, now we have a full-time job. So now they have to get acclimated with all of these things. This is one problem with the freelancers when you were talking about Upwork and Fiverr. These are one of those people that are taking projects. So their interest levels are completely different than someone that's coming in RepStack. So if you're going to Upwork or Fiverr, what you'll get is you can get a project out, send a couple of days here. Their interest in your company is going to be zero because they're interested in the project. So whatever you give the project, that's what they'll work on. They'll work
and I think
they'll work on their beds. They don't know anything about what working for as a, in a company as a full-time employee would be. So we just
that's what, I think, and that's what, many of our clients, that's what they want to do when they want to add somebody to their team, their core team. They want to make sure that this person can come and live and breathe their company values that they've worked so hard to build out. And it's very near and dear to them. It's really personal. So, anybody that you bring in from the outside world, they better be able to, do a great job in, gelling with the current team that's out already there and live and breathe their values. And you can't do that, like you said, with a freelancer. You're going to have a process, either go through a similar process like what we're defining, have it implemented on your end, or work with a placement company who specializes in digital marketing agency placement. If you can afford that, I think it kind of shortens the learning curve there. But great tips there, guys. That's amazing. What's next on the agenda? I think I wanted to ask, and let's talk about this, because we're on that point, on the leadership point, where, we're talking about when we bring in these people, especially to the internal core teams of our agency, we want these people to obviously thrive, right? And I always believe in that, any person who comes in should be able to do three things for them to be able to do a great job for any company, which is number one, do a great job at the task at hand, be able to automate that as much as possible, or delegate, right? So automate or delegate, and or both of them. You do a great job, and at the same level, you are able to automate that job now, so you don't have to do it, or you're able to delegate it over to your other team members, so you don't have to do it. So, and a lot of people think that if I don't have anything left to do, I'm going to be out of a job. No, you won't, because, if your leader is anyone, you, Salman, or, I know what you guys would do is that this guy did such an amazing job that they solved this issue on our side where, they were able to streamline processes by eliminating themselves. Let me put him in this role now and see how they do it and give him a promotion, right? So you actually deserve a promotion. Then you should also be able to do your boss's job, and you should be able to do the people who are reporting to you their jobs. You shouldn't be able to roll up your sleeves and jump on those phones and do them yourselves. And that's the type of culture that we've built internally. And those are the type of cultures that our clients usually have. And that's the person you want to send there, where this person is future oriented. They'd be able to do a great job, but they'll also be, they're also a future leader, where we're seeing that now in RepStack, that our guys are going into agencies and they're running teams inside of 6 months, 1 year. There's people who are approaching 2 years, and they've gone from appointment setters to executive level salespeople inside of an 18-month period. So talk to me a little bit about, there's a thing, because, we want to focus on this thing. We want to make sure we're delivering these type of people to our clients. What do we have in place for our associates so that these people are going to be coming in and they're going to stay with RepStack and our clients, most importantly, for a long period of time? What are we doing to engage them and giving them a direction for their careers?
Yeah, so early on, we realized that, since we have been employees as well, we have worked for other companies. The number one thing that, wasn't salary for me or a lot of other people in our positions. So what we needed was, a path, a journey that we need to understand that where will we be in 3 years? Because we are seeing other people that have been with the company for 4 or 5 years and they're not, growing. So whenever a new person comes in that's extremely energetic, efficient, knows how to get this job done. And when he sees someone like that that's been there for 5 years and he's not going anywhere, he feels demotivated and he'll be switching soon. So what we have done is we've brought in our growth book, and Anam has been instrumental in assigning all of these things to everyone that comes into the company. Go ahead, Anam.
Okay, so I would like to talk about the employee growth here. So what an employee looks for any particular organization, that's the growth perspective. So our retention model has improved when we showed our employees this growth book in terms of their increments, their performance, their designation upgrade as well. That is helping them with their careers in the fast-paced learning environment. So as you can see there, that the RepStack has taken a great initiative with the 1-year plan till the 5-year plan of their associates, that they can come up there. And this is also highlighting the training and development part of the RepStack as well. They can take their trainings as well. They can look up to their journey from the day one. And after every 6 months, RepStack is giving them increments depending upon their performance and their designation upgrade as well. So this is the best part that the RepStack is providing their associates. So where they
Nice.
love this part. Yeah.
So
So
we
this
have
is
a
the
year
great.
one plan. I think you guys are really dialed in
Year
onto the
one
year
plan,
one program.
and then we have a 2 to 3 year plan, and then the 3 years and beyond plan. So all of these things are for the first 5 years at least. If they're giving their 100%, we're going to be backing them 100%.
So basically in short, what that means for, our clients is that, we're bringing this person and we're grooming them to be with that client or that agency inside that particular role for the next 3 to 5 years. And, for a person to be with you for 3 to 5 years and the type of person that we're bringing to the table, we want to ensure that they are able to organically grow with agencies. And we're seeing that now. And I think this growth book kind of helps them out a lot because it keeps them on the straight path. They know exactly where they're going. Inside RepStack, they're going to get a lot of successes, and then they start getting successes with our clients, which is the
That's what
main
I
thing
wanted
that.
to make sure it's a two-way street. So we have done our part. We have set everything up for the client. But if the client needs to understand that he needs to grow this, it's his employee. That's where he will actually grow and that he wants to.
So for the agency owners who are listening to this and who are on a self-implementation path, thinking about your employees' future is going to be really important for you, especially if you're going to be doing this on your own, because you're going to have that system in place where you're talking to them about what the 6-month plan is, what the 1-year plan is, what's the 3-year plan for that employee. Because if it's a winner, if it's a total rock star that you have in sales, you want to make sure that you retain that person for as long as possible. If you have a great account manager, you want to make sure you retain that, because that account manager is what, in some cases, they're managing up to $2 million in revenue a year for an agency. And I've seen that. And, so it's very important role that this person is. And if it's a true rock star, you want to make sure that you do everything in your power to retain this client, this associate, so that they can continue to have the impact on your retention for as long as possible, right? So this growth plan, having these conversations with people, talking about their future, and really be vested in it is extremely important. And, this growth book is a part of what we do on our side to make sure that, the people that we bring in have a long-term vision in their mind as well. All right, that's great stuff,
Financial
guys.
as well as, growth-wise.
Yeah. Even though Salman's finances may not be as important to you, but obviously I know I've been in early stages of my career, and finances are equally important as if you compare it to job satisfaction.
One goes hand in hand with the other. So if your career is growing and your finance is not growing, what good is that career growth? So
this growth book, the integral part of this growth book is also a clear path on how much money our associates are going to be making over the next 5 years. So we draw out that map and we ask them where they would want to be, and we show them that these are key points where they're getting this. But there's so many different ways that we work with them and make sure that we get to them, let them set up a target for their earnings and their professional growth, and then we become partners as an HR team in making sure that they hit that target over the next 6 months, 1 year, and 3 and 5 years.
And I just like to say one last thing here, that to make it more clear that this growth book is not just a part of the training program. It's just the associate can learn. The RepStack is training them on daily basis. Whenever the associate is the part of RepStack, he is continuously in the training path. So that's the great thing, that they can learn even on when they are a client as well. So they're learning continuously at whatever they designation we hire them, whether it's digital marketing associate, sales associate, or account manager. Continuous learning path that we are providing.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a great insight, Anand. Thanks for that. Before we end this, I think we understand how important, actually, the real insight over here is that what we wanted to show you was the amount of work and activity that goes along to hiring, just 10 or 15 new people. You start out with 500 video interviews, you take 200, sometimes 300 interviews on Zoom calls. And then you go on to the verification process where it's, the due diligence and the attention to detail is extreme must. And then the final step, making sure that are these guys capable of working from home or not. So, every step of the process is designed to eliminate candidates, and, you're left with a small bunch, which are, the rock stars. And then there's a number that you guys track, Salman, the success ratio that these guys get after they've been placed inside the company. What's that?
Higher fail rate is basically, since our main customer is the Success Academy, which is our training and development department. So knowing them, so we need to know what our client wants. So our current higher fail rate is 0%, which basically means everyone that we have given to the training department, they haven't been rejected or any of those things. So the process is working. If there's any changes that need to be made, the inter-department connection is extremely strong. Our client continuously keeps us in check on what they need and how they want it, and we make those adjustments accordingly. So the process is it's not static, it's continuously evolving.
Big part, it's our backbone at RepStack, and I really wanted to give you guys an insight on the amount of work that it takes. I want to compare. So if you guys are planning on hiring some of these key roles inside your agency, we've done some research, and we just quickly want to show you the price differences between 3 top markets inside the US, and then what the RepStack price comes out to be, just so you guys can understand a comparison. Can we make this bigger, Khizr? I can barely see this sheet.
Yeah, okay. So an SDR costs in Florida, it would cost around $50,000 a year. And at RepStack, it's $28,000.
26,880. Yeah, so Tampa, Austin, and Seattle, we did some research. I forgot the name of the company we pulled this data from, but we can put that in our notes. But, these are just base salaries. If you were to hire a marketing assistant in Tampa, it's going to cost you $61,000. A sales development rep in Austin is going to be about $50,000 a year. An account manager in Seattle is going to be about $64,000. And, with RepStack, this price is at $26,880. But having said that, I think, the pricing is good.
It's good, but this is not accurate. I'll explain to you how, because this is just getting someone off the shelf in the US, $60,000. But there's a lot of things that go into it. There's training and development.
Like what?
There's taxes, social security, unemployment, workers' comp. The benefits are there. Then there's medical, 401k, dental if some companies. And then there's office space and equipment. So if you build all of these things up, if you're hiring, let's say, someone for $100,000 a year. Now, that person is not going to cost you $100,000. It's going to be $135,000 a year.
Oh, so, wow. That's a 35% increase at that price point.
But there's so many more things that go into it that if that person leaves, let's Suppose for if you hire someone in and they obviously nowadays the market is going both sides. Gone are the days when people would be with you for 20, 30 years. Now the average age of an employee for even let's say Google is about 1.1 years. So anybody that even in a highest tech firm right now is staying for a year and change. So we have to be very careful when we're talking about costs, because in RepStack all of that things are being taken care of by us. So this is something that I think everyone should know about as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Salman, because when we are looking, we're a lot of our clients are like that, where they have hybrid teams, they have local people, and they have RepStack people supporting their local teams as well. And a lot of our clients have RepStack only teams or outsource only teams and things like that. But especially on the US side, we more and more benchmark with the US market. That's why we're kind of showing you that chart. In order for you to be able to bring in a account manager whose base salary is 60,000, you're going to have to budget a little bit higher than that, about 15, 20, sometimes 35% in taxes and everything that Saman just talked to you about. But not only having that, but also having all the processes in place before you can bring in that level of you need to be able to support them through, like what we just talked about. Things,
ping pong tables. You need to keep them entertained.
You need growth books.
Career growth.
You career growth. You want healthcare options. You want you need an HR process so that when you do bring in an employee who's going to cost you roughly $100,000, you better have a
environment as well.
Sorry, what was that, Anam?
To set up a proper cultural environment as well. Not all of these.
So the culture part is very important because it keeps that investment in check. So if you're bringing someone in and you're putting all that money into
that associate, that's your biggest investment, right?
So
at this point as an agency.
It's
so you want to have that HR process streamlined from the get-go. You want to have everything that we talked about, like kind of mini version of everything that we showed you, that what it takes to hire an associate inside a digital marketing agency, because that's what we're doing. You guys should take a mini version of this and have it implemented on your side to kind of go ahead, Salman.
It's always cheaper to, just like any product, it's always cheaper to retain an employee that has all that experience than to get a new one. Even though it might in some cases be a lot more cost effective, but in the long run, that's not cost effective. The amount of experience that he's gained.
Yeah, I think this has been a great insight, guys. I really want to thank you, Salman and Anam, for showing us what it takes to hire, an employee in today's digital marketing agency, the amount of work it takes and things like that. And I'm hoping that some of people who are listening to us are able to use some of these systems that we're using, like our 4-step hiring process, because sometimes our process is taking anywhere from 1 month to up to 90 days before these guys can even start going into our training department. And that's, on our side, this was really step number 1. And then next week, we're going to be talking about our RepStack Success Academy, which is kind of like our trade school for digital marketers that we put these people through. So, our HR takes 1 month to 90 days to pull these people in, and a regular flow of these people. And from there, they're in our training departments from 90 days to 4 months sometimes before they see a face of a client in a placement call. So next week, we're going to talk about what a good, solid training program should look like for people coming in, because you want to set them up for success. And if you don't have training, then again, I would stop you or implore you from hiring your first $60,000, $50,000 a year employee, and make sure that you have systems and processes in place before you can bring this person in and have a bad experience for him to come over and things like that. So next week we're going to talk about our training. And is there any ending notes on your side, Salman?
All good from my side, Anam.
Yeah, I would like to just say all that we have said in the screening process till, the cultural activities, we make sure that when that employee is being hired to RepStack has the best experience, that they get the best employee experience, which in the RepStack is provided with the exceptional candidates. That is just...
We have a 98% retention rate this month only. So you can see that's unheard of in an IT company, that people want to stay with us.
And when you start doing a great job like our HR team is doing, it becomes push versus pull. So, we're pulling in so many different people are reaching out to us from, we have, I think, 12,000 plus followers on LinkedIn right now. And RepStack is the company to work for in our local market in the digital marketing field. And that's because of the hard work of the HR team. And great job, guys. Really proud of you. And I hope that this helps out. Feel free to reach out to us with any more questions, guys. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you all. It was a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Azhar.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
so much, Azhar.